What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Alex Reviews Unfriended. This is going to be my third non-animated film review, and yeah, let's get into it. So this is a horror film. I put horror in quotation marks because there's absolutely nothing real jump scary about it. But it's a psychological horror film. This is the horror films I want to see. I want to see psychological horror films. I don't care about your jump scares, movies. No, I don't like that kind of thing. I'm not a horror fan. I do like psychological horror. That's what this film gives me. That's what I'm going to take it as. That's why I want to watch it. Main reason why I wanted to watch it is because it involves Skype, and I don't know. I use Skype a lot. So this film is about Laura Barnes, who sadly committed suicide, and now she's haunting this group of friends on a Skype call for no real reason, apparently. It's directed by Leo Gabrielzi, something like that, a foreign director. Has directed a couple things, but not much, and I think he did a very good job with this one. What do I think about it in total? Let's see where this goes. The originality of the film. This is a very original film. Again, like Nerve, it's not completely original, but I haven't seen a film that was, because this film was entirely filmed on a Skype call, I believe, for the most part, minus a couple clips and things, but it was majorly filmed on a Skype call. So 4 out of 5 for the originality of this film. The predictability. Despite it being very original, it is completely predictable. You know who's going to die next. They basically give a forewarning. You know what's going to happen. You know who's going to say what. You know it's going to be some drama involved. It's a very predictable film. 1 out of 5. I can't really back this film up on that. The characters. Well, I do think these main set of characters are jerks. They're teenagers, and they are real teenagers. This is how a majority of teenagers act. So, while the main audience perceives them as being, wow, that guy's a real jerk, why do they make this character like that? Well, if you look at yourself, if it's a teen reviewer, of course, you might can see yourself in that guy's position. This is how teenagers act a majority of the time, at least behind people's backs. 7 out of 10, I still think they were a bit maybe overboard with it, and they might have been a bit too jerk-ish, and they were jerks, so I can't give them full on that, but it was true to what it's trying to be. 7 out of 10 for the characters. The story and the plot. Why do these type of films have to have the weakest story and plot ever? I mean, this is just a little bit better than Circle's story and plot. Basically, this girl named Laura Barnes, who has killed herself, it's about like a year later, and she's haunting this group of friends on a Skype call. They just barely mention Laura, and then she just shows up in the call, and she's this, I guess, not a ghost, but a paranormal activity type thing. I don't know horror real well. And then she just haunts them and starts killing them, and to be honest, I don't know why. Because it wasn't these 6 people that mainly were targeting and bullying her. I mean, they did mention her, but I think somebody said something about her in a bad way, and then the others were like, nah, man, that's too far. But why these people? I mean, they didn't specifically do anything to you. I do know that one of them filmed the tape of her, which got her super bullied, so I can understand that. But why the others? And the last one, I guess I'll just say it here, Blair was the one that did it. Why didn't you just kill Blair and then leave the others alone? You could have messed up with her life, maybe, and, you know, messed with her boyfriend and everything, but why did you have to kill him and kill the other ones of her friends? I never understood that, and I always thought that was very weak on the story's part, that it didn't explain that. Now, maybe if the other 5 of them were, like, super bullying Laura, like, they were the main ones in the videos that were like, yeah, you stupid, whatever, then I might could have understood it. but I think it was very weakly explained, this. 5 out of 10 on the story and the plot. It's better than Circle's, let's put just aliens in there just because plot, but it's not that much better. The moral of the story. This is a great moral. Now, despite a weak story in the plot and the very predictable, I think this film is really good. But the moral of the film, I think this is fantastic. It talks about cyberbullying and how bullying really hurts people, and karma can come and bite you in the end. 10 out of 10. Is it or will it be dated? That's another thing wrong with this film. I am finding big flaws with this film, but it's going to get better. But is it or will it be dated? This film's going to be dated pretty much. It involves Skype. It also involves a lot of teen stuff, even though they talk about going to an opera at the beginning. That's a bit weird, don't you think? But anywho, or at least a play or something. I remember them saying something about going to a big theater and not a movie theater. But 2 out of 5 on Is or Will It Be Dated, because I think there's some lingo that's used in the movie, and since they're teenagers and they're acting up, you know, that's probably going to be dated and everything. I really like it, and I probably always will really like it, but I can see people dating this film. 2 out of 5. The pacing of the film. Here's a thing that I thought was near perfect. The pacing of the film. I really enjoyed this film. I was never willing to leave the theater. I thought it flowed perfectly, even though it took a bit slow to get to start. Once it got started, then I think it went perfectly. It might have messed up a little bit near the end, like when it got down to just Mitch and Blair. But I believe it got down to Mitch and Blair, or Adam and Blair or something. I don't remember the characters exactly, but yeah, the pacing did a really good job. So 5 out of 5. The impact of the film. Now, where Circle also went with this route with just killing people, killing your characters, there was a certain amount of characters here. There were 6 characters, I believe, in total, maybe 7. And you actually got time to know them, which means you could actually feel for their deaths. However, they were such jerks that you aren't able to feel for their deaths. 6 out of 10 on the impact. The only real death I was impacted by was Blair, and that's because I thought that she was the nice one. But apparently she's the one that filmed Laura. So, does it hit the target audience and beyond? It definitely, very, very much so, hits the target audience. Beyond, maybe into the 20s and 30s, guys. Especially since I looked at this film and looked at the actors. Most of the actors are in their 20s, like late 20s and early 30s. So I thought that was really interesting. But I think it'll be able to hit with some of the 20s and 30s, guys. 7 out of 10 on does it hit the target audience and beyond. The relatability of this film. If we're talking about the target audience here, yes. You should be able to relate to a character whether you like it or not. Whether you like the character or not, you should be able to relate to somebody here. I probably related to the guy that knows a lot about computers, the kind of nerd guy. Maybe not fully, because he was a bit mean and jerkier, if that's a word, than the others. But 9 out of 10 here. If it's going for the target audience, the people in the 30s, the 20s, and the teenagers, they're going to be able to relate to this film, whereas I don't think older people, or definitely not younger people, unless they're really big bullies for some reason, are going to be able to relate to these characters. 9 out of 10. The acting of the film. Now, this film was done by basically, it wasn't teen actors, but it was like people in their 20s and 30s. The only real names, okay, 2 names that were big, Shelley Hennig, she's done other stuff, and Renee Olstead, she's also done other stuff. I believe I've heard of something that she's been in before. There's also Moses Storm, Will Petts, Jacob Wysocki, Courtney Halverson, and Heather Sossaman. There were 7 main characters, I think. Those were the main characters, and they didn't do a perfect job, but they did a fantastic job. 9 out of 10. And the overall enjoyment I got out of this film, 10 out of 10. I love this film. Right after I saw it, I mean, I believe it came out in like March or something, and when I got back to school the next day, that's all I would talk about was Unfriended. Hey, have you seen Unfriended? Have you seen Unfriended? It was really good, wasn't it? It was a very good film. I really enjoyed it. 10 out of 10 there. Overall, this film gets a 7.5 out of 10 from me. It's got like a 62% on Rotten Tomatoes and like a 5.8 on IMDb. And can kind of see that. I think I'm overrating it a little bit, but I mean, it is my ratings, and I really enjoyed this film, so I'm glad it gets a 7.5 out of 10. I haven't reviewed a live action film that's got over an 8 out of 10 yet, but they've all been in the 7.4 to 7.8 range, so yeah, I like these kind of films. These kind of films are films that interest me. If you want to get me to come and see your film, this is what you gotta do. Make it psychological horror, psychological something, because I like that aspect of films. I want a film that's going to make me think versus a film that's going to make me laugh or something like that. So, tell me what you thought about it in the comments below. Also, post suggestions because I don't know what I'm going to do next. It'll probably be coming out on Monday, since I'm recording this on Wednesday and uploading on Friday. It'll come out Monday, the next review, and if I don't see something, it'll probably just be another Disney film I go for. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.